Hey guys, this is Gus from Laredo Savers. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to weather our clan series for those who want to do their own weathering. This is the process I've been using. Kind of improved it over time because the first ones I did were, I don't know, I was figuring out what the process was in order to get the best results. So today I'm going to show you on the Clan Series 6, the Darth Maul, how I do or how I go about weathering it, which in reality is not necessarily weathering, is mostly painting. The reason being is that I use a acrylic, black acrylic paint on the body, as well as black mate or flat black for the emitter, which is stainless steel. So without further ado, here's the full process. And if you guys have any questions on it, just let me know. Thank you. All right, so first thing is the emitter, what I call the radiator, which is the large washer section, as well as the blade holder. So what I'm going to do is just use some high heat spray paint. It's flat black, and it's basically just going to cover the whole sides all around. Same goes for that one. And I'm just going to use just a couple of quotes. So after the first light coat, let it dry for about 10 minutes. It's still wet, you can see it here. Just let it dry. Should be looking more like this and not like that. While you let the paint dry, you can start removing parts of the main body. So I recommend you first remove the coupler or the quick disconnect. Just be careful, don't drop the little O-rings. Just set these aside. Remove the larger O-rings. I always leave these on because these get a little bit more difficult. You can remove this one if you want, but it turns a little bit more difficult to put and remove the lead bezel because they're in that groove. So I leave them like that. And this part here, you also want to remove the O-ring, and then you're gonna put back the emitter. Just don't do it all the way in, just leave it like that. Same for this, so that you can also paint inside those crevices. Now there is another coupling device for the emitter. If you want to do that as well, you can do that. Otherwise, just leave it alone. You're only going to need one piece. This one is the one that has the holes, but the O-ring covers them all, so you really don't have to swap it. But that's all totally up to you. So you do that with both hilts. Oh, and for this one, you will need to remove the cover deck as well. Now you do have in the box a tool to remove the cover tech wheel, so just don't lose it and you should be good. All right, so after about 10-15 minutes, as you can see, it looks like opaque. That's what you want. Same for the large washers. And now we're gonna remove them and use some Scotch-Brite to remove the excess. All right, so the next step is to basically turn this into something like this. As you can see, the edges are almost bare. So Same for the large washers, like full dark to shiny edges. So what you're gonna do is just take a Scotch-Brite and then just start to buff on it, just little by little. Turn it around like a quarter turn, and you keep doing that until you get the shine that you want. Maybe you can do it the other way around as well. Whatever's best for you, whatever works. Always use gloves because this is a little bit dirty because you're scraping paint off. So once you got the desired look, then on the sides you can do the same. You don't have to worry much about these because these can set on top of here, and then you get the emitter. So you don't really need to do a lot. Just buff it a little bit. Once you're done with that, set it aside. Now do this one. For this one, it's better if you put your fingers in there and then just start to buff on the sides of the washers. You keep doing that, turning it little by little. That's when you get that, you just squeeze it like that, and then just turn it a few times so that the rough paint comes off, but you still get the dark area. Same here on the top. Just a few, and I think to me that's about it. All right, so you do that for your two emitters again until you got the desired look you want, and then you should be done. So for the next step, you're going to use a black acrylic paint. I get this on the Mexican side. I'm pretty sure you guys can get it, not this brand though, but you can get it at your local Hobby Lobby or I don't know, something similar like that, Michael's and so on. I normally use like a medium-sized brush like this one, about 3/4 of an inch thick. You can also use a 1/2 inch or something similar, as long as you're able to reach inside the grooves on each and every groove. Sometimes this one's difficult, but you can use the corner. But anyways, that's all you need. Now again, you're going to use the Scotch-Brite. This one has already been used a little bit, and a couple of containers. Now one container will have the acrylic paint with a little bit of water, so it's diluted and it's not too viscous. Needs to be diluted a little bit so it's watery, so it can get in all the nicks and crannies here. And this one will be just full of water, so you can clean your brushes once you're pretty much done with it. All right, so let me prepare the acrylic paint. So it's typically like 2 to 1. Like if I use 2 scoops of acrylic paint, then just a scoop of water, then mix it all together. If it's still too thick and it's not watery enough, just add more water. That's all you need to do. But you don't want to do too much water so it's completely runny and it's not going to stick to the hilt. So you need to, if you want to practice, you still have those other 2 couplers. You can make your own mix first and then try it on that. It needs to stick, but it doesn't need to be that thick that it's going to be difficult to remove afterwards. So the process is like this. You first covered it all. It's going to look all black and runny. And then after that, you let it dry a little bit. And with some tissue or paper, like a napkin or so, just remove the excess and lift the rest so that all the groups get a lot of coverage, but not the main surface. After that, you will let it dry until the main surface is dry. And the grooves are kind of dry, but you still see a little bit of a wet spot here and there. That should be the perfect spot. All right, guys, so I screwed up with the correct mix. Actually, it's more like reversed, or 2 times water or 1 time acrylic paint. So once you have that mix, it needs to look something like this, like kind of watery, but still look like paint instead of water. So that way it doesn't run too much on the hilt. And what you're gonna do is, and I'm sorry I had to record this twice. So I'm gonna do it again. So basically what you do is just start basically covering the whole thing little by little. Go by sections, especially on the grooves. Try to add as much as you can. Don't worry, just trust the process. It'll end up to be great once you're done. Again, trust the process. So if you start to see it uncover again, just add a little bit more. Just go all the way around, little by little, like that. And since I'm using the meta glasses, I'm pretty sure it's going to run out of time before I finish the whole hilt. But you get the idea. So it has to be like completely dark and covered with paint. And once you get to this point, and you're gonna have to grab it somehow and do the opposite. Now you're gonna make it paint towards the upper section of the emitter. Don't worry, let it drip. It'll get messy, so that's why I have a cardboard here. Just make sure it gets everywhere. Don't worry too much about this section, because remember the O-ring is gonna cover that part. And don't forget to do the inside of these fins right there. So once you've covered it all, just set it aside like this and let it drip for a little while. You're gonna let it dry out for about 5 to 10 minutes until you start to see it dry up in some of the sections. And once that happens, you're gonna use like tissue, paper towel, or like I'm doing right now with toilet paper, and just start to remove the excess. Just don't overdo it. Just remove as much as you can without going in the grooves, so that you don't remove the paint off the grooves, just the top surface. And then you're gonna let it dry a little bit more. But right now I'm gonna turn it off, or the video off, while it dries a little bit, and I'm gonna show you how much I remove. Okay, so let me show you. This one is starting to dry up, so this is the perfect time to start removing the excess. If it feels too dry and you're having a little bit of a hard time removing it, you can always dampen a little bit the napkin or the paper that you're using, just to remove the excess. You don't have to remove it all again. This is just the excess, because you don't want to ruin the grooves. So just all that wet stuff, just get it all off. and then leave it dry again. Again, trust the process. Now, the reason I do the whole hilt instead of just the grooves is because the sandblasting process and the silver coloring that the shop puts on is a little bit on the lighter side, but that was on purpose because I learned that from the first clan series we did, that we need to get it more on the white side, so that when you do the weathering process like this, it turns into a very grayish type of color instead of a white color. So it will darken up a little bit, and it kind of gives you that resin look like the prequel sabers had. So again, just trust the process. If you do just the grooves, you will have a very bright color, let's say light gray, with very dark grooves. But if you do it this way, you'll have a much darker tone of gray. Well, not darker, but it'll be darker than the original. And then you'll have the darker grooves and it'll look perfect. So again, this is the reason I do the whole hilt and not just the grooves. Now, while we wait for these to dry, I think it's the perfect timing to get the buttons all painted as well. So see all this mess I have here? So what I'm going to do is just drop them in there and then just start to fiddle them around in that acrylic paint. That's the perfect amount you need to get them all covered. You're going to do essentially a similar process where you paint them kind of all black, then let them dry for a little bit, and then after they're dry you can remove the excess as much as you want. So once that's done, again, especially the silver ones, those are the ones that need a little bit more coverage. Then once you think they're covered, just set them aside. Don't leave them in the paint or they won't dry up. Set them aside like that. Spread them in your surface. Just let them dry a little bit. All right. All right, and for the last step on the hilt, as I said, just make sure the surface looks dry enough. Then dampen the Scotch-Brite just a few drops. So you can see this side is dry, this one is a little bit wet. And what you're going to start doing is just rotate the hilt like that by sections. That'll remove the surface paint while keeping the grooves untouched. Just a few turns like that. You want to this time close this one a little bit, and once you get that, grab your paper towel or whatever, and then you're going to do strokes like that. And as you can see, all the grooves get covered. Some areas you don't want that much. You can just clean a little bit more. Like vertical strokes. Same, but in the opposite direction. Vertical strokes. Just remove all the excess. And then here, this is a little bit trickier. What I do is normally I'll squish it like this and do that. You can see that you'll have, like, on the edge, you'll still have a little bit of paint, so that looks cool. Just remove the center portion like that. If you start to feel it's too hard, maybe a little bit of water. That's all you need. Do it all around. Then once you're done, again, vertical strokes. Then once you're done, you set it aside to fully dry. But as you can see, looks great, especially like these groups or cutouts here. If you still think like it's way too much, you can always use a little bit of water and then just pass the Scotch-Brite a little more in that area until you remove all the excess that you don't want, like that. And then again, strokes like that. Again, once you're done, I think you're full with that or comfortable, just set it aside and let it fully dry. Once it's fully dry, you then go for the buttons, clean the buttons, same process. You don't need the Scotch-Brite for the buttons, maybe just some paper towel. And then you can start putting it back together. Put the buttons and the O-rings and things like that. I'm going to show you that once I finish all of these. Or if you want to seal the deal, which I normally don't do because sometimes, I don't know, you feel like adding a little bit more weathering. But if you want to seal it, you can use some clear coat, matte or satin, depending on the look you want. If you want it more matte, you can use matte clear coat, or if you want it to look a little bit more like the prequels, just a little bit of satin, and it'll give it a little bit of sheen or shine in the hilt while protecting the acrylic paint. All right, so let me finish all these up and I'll put it back together. All right, guys, so finally we're going to put it all back together. It's already weathered. We got the bodies weathered, the emitters weathered, my hands weathered. Well, I shouldn't say weather, actually it's paint, so it's all painted. Kind of like how the prequels were done. So first off, you're going to take one of the blade holders. We're going to put in the blade plug buddy and just insert it like about a millimeter from the way down, and just tighten one of the screws a little bit so it's not loose. Then you'll put in the large washers and then you start to put in the end cap. I like to leave the end cap like shiny with no weathering. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a I don't know, like a different look. So I think stylistically it looks better. And then you put in the blade plug head. You turn it. Don't need to tighten it all the way in. If you want, you can press it in until it goes inwards. I don't like to do that, so I'll leave it like that. Let's go with the other one. Do it a little bit quicker. Just make sure that you put it the other way around with the thread on the top. All right. Then you put in this and the end cap. It might be a little bit tighter because of the paint I put in. There you go. And put the blade plug head. It's easier if you do it that way. All right, so now on the body, first you want to put in the O-rings. Again, the official position of this O-ring is right here, but since there's not enough groove, because that's the way the parts were, I put it here. But if you want, you just slide it out of here, put it here. If you want to put some silicone or something just to make it tighter, you can do that. On this side, you can remove the top piece, doesn't really matter, and then just put this one on top, and that one goes like that. You want to put the cover tech right here. Let me grab my other tool. Once you put the cover tech, you want to put the smaller buttons first. Just be careful. Do not try them. If you start to feel some pressure on them, do not turn them. These should turn in really easy. If not, you're not doing it the right way, and then you might damage the threads. So just be careful. And then finally, you can put the, I always put like the one that has like the cut here, this one, on the cover tech side for whatever reason. You can put them any way you want, but I think let's be consistent, and I'm gonna now use the longer ones. Again, just make sure it turns easy like that. And the last piece would be this one. And there you go. Finally, you've put in the emitter. And now repeat for the other side, and you're done. And now that you have both finished, you can lock them together. Remember to put the smaller O-ring on the groove here. Otherwise, the larger ones would not do enough pressure, and it'll feel a little bit wobbly. Remember, this is more of a gimmick. It's not meant to be your main connection point. The main one is the single piece aluminum, so that you can twirl and do choreography with it if you want to. Otherwise, this is really fun to do. There you go. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Remember to trust the process. This is the way I've been doing weathering on the Clan series. It's different from person to person. Others do it differently than I do. This is the way I taught myself how to do it. Kind of like mimicking a little bit how the originals were painted, and also trying to do some different techniques over time till I kind of found the best way to do it, which is what I'm showing right here. So thank you very much for your time, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.